I generally sent this off to the Vatican, and they didn't reply, which I just thought is rude. It's not my understanding of Christianity. Is be nice to people and be polite. So this is the letter I sent off to apply to be Pope. On April the 9th, 2005. Dear Pope Finder General. That's who. Who chooses, like probably nearly everyone, apart from diabolists, gays, and people who think we should try and stop the AIDS virus spreading. I was saddened to hear of the passing of Pope John Paul II. He was really good at being Pope, and so it's a shame he can't be anymore. But on the bright side, he must surely now be up in heaven, enjoying everlasting life in paradise, which, as is my understanding, is the whole point of being Christian and stuff, so really we should be quite happy about it, don't you think? There was always the chance if he'd lived longer he might have done a really stupid sin or something and been barred from entry, so in a sense it's good he died. I'm not trying to make light of a man's life, and I could because he's called Carol and there are hundreds of jokes I could do if I wanted to. I just think you probably knew him quite well and must be sad, and I was trying to look on the bright side. He's probably met Jesus already and found out which of the contradictory stuff in the Bible was actually right, and whether the bread and wine literally becomes his body and blood, or whether he was speaking metaphorically. I expect John Paul and Jesus had quite a laugh if it was the latter. That would be quite embarrassing for the Pope. But Jesus wouldn't hold a grudge, he'd forgive him. That's his job, and I for one think he does it well, and he doesn't get a sexual thrill from shitting himself like some blasphemous fools maintain. I don't know what that's referring to. That's a back reference to something. Anyway, maybe that just came out of nowhere, who knows, it's funny either way. Anyway, sad as the Pope's death is, there does come a point where life has to go on and we have to get on with things. I've waited over 36 hours and John Paul isn't coming back. Unlike Jesus, who surprised everyone that time back on April the 9th, 30 AD. So, 33 AD. So I think it's time to think about who will be the next pontiff. Doubtless you'll have given this a bit of thought over the last few weeks while John Paul was ill, though to be polite you really should have waited till he was dead before you started that speculation. But I'm a forgiving man. Please make a note of this. And I'm not going to make a fuss about it. Anyway, what I'm saying is that despite the fact that I may not be on your current list of candidates, I was wondering if I could throw my hat. I don't have one of those little round paper ones that are a bit like a frisbee, so that would be good for this. Well, not yet. Into the ring. You might think me an unlikely choice, as I've never held even a minor office in the Catholic Church, but I think I might be quite good at it anyway. Here's why. One, I am relatively young for a pope. If you keep selecting popes in their 50s and 60s, then obviously you're going to have to go through this rigmarole every decade or so with the, is that white smoke or black smoke there? I can't really tell. Isn't all smoke essentially grey? Shouldn't we come up with a better system, more clear system for this after all this time? It's quite important, just off the top of my head. Forget about the smoke. Why don't we, when we've chosen a pope, why don't we have a man who comes out on the papal balcony, holds up a big sign saying, "We have chosen a new pope." That might be, it's quite important that we get that right. Don't say that's not fair, because, a lot of Catholics speak different languages, they wouldn't understand that, and you need a lot of signs, and of course a lot of Catholics are illiterate, which is why they can believe this stuff, because because what you'd have then is just still one sign. It's got multilingual. What is it? You have a cartoon picture of like a generic pope, kind of just a white, middle-aged, quite old man, with a tick by it. If that's if they found a new pope, and then if they haven't, on the other side, it's the same picture of generic pope with a cross by it. That's not on a cross. That would be confusing and slightly insensitive. I'm only 37 years old. I was at the time. Oh, I wish I was again. And two of my grandparents lived to be over 90. My grandma's still alive. She's 99. And so I think there's an excellent chance I could reign for the next 50 years, which would mean we wouldn't have to bother to think of a new pope till about 2055. Let's face it, by then the world would probably have ended, especially if we keep the rule about the condoms going. So your job would be done. You could put your feet up. Job done. I don't know, maybe off the top of my head, sell a couple of paintings from the Vatican, give the money to the poor, just a thought. Number 2, although I'm not a very religious man, and if pressed would say I am an atheist, I do have quite a lot of experience of church. My mum and dad were Christians, C of E, I'm afraid. I hope that's not a problem. It's the same thing, really. They forced me to go to church about 4 times a year when I was little. God, I hated it. It was so boring and stuffy and sanctimonious. Once I got to about 25, I actually refused to go to church anymore, even at Christmas, even though it made my nephews and nieces cry. I think it's very important to stick up for your principles, no matter how clearly wrong they are. That's another reason why I'd be a good pope. But I do like some of the superpowers that Jesus had, and a lot of the hymns were fun. I've read most of the Bible. I've learned the first page of the New Testament off by heart. That is true. If you give me the job, I would definitely learn the other stuff, and also if people ask me, say that I believe in God and stuff, as long as I get the free equipment. Number 3, I'm actually godfather to my nephew Andrew, and even though I don't believe in God, I take my duties seriously, and every now and again I say to him, believe in God, and similar. This should give you an idea of how I'd be able to lie and be a hypocrite to be Pope. He tells people to believe stuff that no intelligent person would think was true. 4, I'd really like to live in a big palace and order people around and stuff, and think I'd be good at it. Also, I've been meaning to learn other languages, which is something a Pope has to do, so that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. 5, I believe all people are equal and have a right to do whatever they want as long as they're not harming other people. I believe Jesus Christ said something similar. But like all the other popes, I'm prepared to just ignore that and say that I hate gay people, etc., if that means I get the job. This is a new bit. There's one thing I think I should probably tell you now before you find out once you've given me the job, because this is kind of a bit of a repeat, something I added in. I was not actually brought up as a Catholic. My mum and dad are C of E, nor have I converted to Catholicism or really even been to a Catholic church. My brother-in-law is Catholic, and I think I was best man for a bloke who might have been Catholic. It was some weird branch of Christianity anyway. But that's about as far as it goes. To be honest, I've always found the Catholic religion a bit showy, which seems at odds with Christ's message to me. And also, you can't seriously mean it about transubstantiation. That's just weird. But having said that, I've really enjoyed my 2 trips to the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel. I'm prepared to overlook my disdain for the way that all Christian churches have walked the message of Jesus, if it means I get the fine robes, jewels, and free air travel. I hope you won't hold this against me and will give me some marks for my honesty. I think I deserve an interview at least. I understand if you can't give me the job this time round, but hope you'll keep my letter on file for the next time this happens, which should be pretty soon, given the way it's worked so far. C.1 NB the smoke. I have a few gigs around the country, but could probably rearrange them if you want me to start straight away. Monday would really be the easiest, earliest convenient date for me, as I'm playing in Croydon on Sunday. Again, bad luck about John Paul. I'm looking forward to being your boss. So, I didn't really think I'd get... I mean, I was just being a bit light-hearted. I was trying to cheer them up at a difficult time. I didn't actually think I'd get the job. I did think I might get an interview, to be honest, but I knew. But, you know, you can imagine... I didn't think I'd get it. You can imagine how annoyed I was, though, when they gave the job to a Nazi. Because beforehand, if they told me it would come down to be between me and a bloke who'd willingly served under Hitler in the National Socialists in Germany, I thought I'd get that. I don't know, that's not. Because in my life, right, I've always been given a choice between Hitler and Jesus. I've always thought Jesus was best at that. Even when I was a little kid, I would always... I mean, Jesus was great, he did amazing stuff. Hitler was awful, he did all the terrible gas all those Jews and stuff, and awful... He was horrible, Hitler, and Jesus was nice generally. One of the worst you can say about Jesus, I mean, he threw over those tables, didn't he? He had a temper on him, but I mean, I don't know. That doesn't, I mean, compared to Auschwitz, that seems a minor... You'd have to really like furniture to be annoyed. I mean, he was a carpenter, he could have just knocked up another one for you. I'm sure he did, the minute he realised what he'd done. So I was annoyed that they got that, because yeah, I've always thought Jesus was better. Well, I mean, Pope Benedict, to be fair, he says he prefers Jesus to Hitler now. He's changed his mind, so that is... My problem is what if he changes it back again? We've already seen he isn't a consistent person. He might just start with me embarrassing. They should have stuck with me. That's my point. But there we go. So that's